Sheesh.
Man, look, let's be real. I'm gonna go over Ben Askren. First off, I'm with Pete Davidson. I didn't know who the hell Ben Askren was. I really didn't, but I did some homework on him, man. As far as a boxer, whatever. But he's not a chump. I mean, he's regarded as one of the greatest college wrestlers of all time. One of them. Two-time gold medal winner in NCAA D1 wrestling, 19-2 in MMA. 5 of his wins he got by punches, so you thought he would have been able to pack some kind of punch, but the dude came in there out of shape. He got his clock cleaned. I think it was an early stoppage, but whatever. I think it was kind of fixed. It looked a little bit staged towards the end when how they stopped it, but whatever. It was anybody who paid money for that, shame on you. But I got some good laughs out of it. I watched the whole entire fight on YouTube for free.
There you go.
I actually bet on that on the first round knockout.
Did you?
Yep.
On my bookie?
Yep.
Now, who'd you bet to win though, Askren or
Jake Paul?
Oh, really?
I truthfully I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually really like Jake Paul. Like, the dude is definitely an asshole, but for him to use his star power just from being some little YouTuber to blowing up and getting everybody so pissed, and now even after this knockout, he's got people talking so much smack on his Instagram. I challenge you, send the contract, this and that. Jake Paul is at this level now, so he doesn't need that because with his following, because let's be honest, this is saving boxing right here. So these random YouTubers.
That's true. That's what's unfortunate about it.
It's not saving boxing. This is a piece of shit. This is boring.
Viewership. Look at the money
Honestly,
coming in.
Man, like, Corey, you can laugh at it, but what other boxing thing have we discussed on this show?
Tony Harrison a little bit. Which, by the way, had a draw over the weekend.
I mean, that's because we're not really talking about no major fights have really went on.
Because boxing's trash right now.
I mean,
that's
boxing's not trash.
When you compare,
there's Tank Davis, there's Canelo Alvarez, there's a ton of boxing.
MMA's bigger than boxing right now.
Nothing with any
you
of
want to
those
say
names.
MMA's bigger than boxing?
Right.
I'll take that. But saying boxing
back
is trash
in the day,
right now.
boxing was it, man. Boxing used to be up here, and now boxing is like here to where the only buzz boxing gets is YouTube stars challenging MMA fighters.
Only reason boxing is dead because there's really the heavyweight division is not where it needs to be. But if you look at all the other classes, there are definitely some good boxers out there. Terrence Crawford, he's amazing out there.
Ask
Earl
Pete Davidson
Spence,
about them. He's gonna say, "I don't know who that is."
Hey, he's not a boxing fan. He's he's right where he belongs.
But that's the
Controller.
thing. Boxing used to be transcendent, where even if you weren't a hardcore boxing fan, you used to know, Sugar Ray Leonard. You used to know Mike Tyson. You used to know all those names. Now, I honestly, I couldn't name 3 heavyweights. I could name Tyson Fury, and that's really it. Who did he fight last time? What's his name?
Come on.
I don't know. I can't remember it off the top.
I'm hoping Corey doesn't know this.
I know
Who did Fury fight last time? The dude that, say he got tired out by wearing the heavy stuff into the ring. What the hell was his name?
That guy.
Wilder? Yeah, there you go. Wilder. But look how long that took me to get to that, and that's the biggest.
Wilder, Anthony Joshua. There's guys out there. You just got to just really look at them. Boxing is not as popular as it once was, but there are still some great fighters and some great fights out there.
See, we're not discrediting the sport. The sport, I'm sure there's great fighters, but as far as a marketing tactic, the
marketing is bad because right now, society has changed. Back then, boxing used to be about I want to fight the best fighter,
right?
And it's no longer that. Now it's about if I'm going to get my face punched in or I'm going to punch somebody's face in, I'm going to go for the bag. So that's where the sport has changed and where it's becoming a more diluted, and you're starting to see MMA and UFC take off because the best fighters are not ducking each other for a bag. So that's
because there's somebody in control of MMA.
Yeah,
boxing's just a bunch of individuals floating around, and then there's all these different belts that there's no longer 2 belts that mean something. It's like, all right, I could be the champion of A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and none of those belts actually mean what they used to anymore. Like when you were the heavyweight world champion, that used to be it. Now it's okay, how would you do at MMA? That's the question that comes out. So listen, I'm a boxing fan, but even I'll notice that I'm a baseball fan too, and you got to notice baseball's falling down too. So you got to look at boxing the same way. It's an old sport. Things have evolved past it, and people are falling off loving it to the point where Jake Paul is pulling in loot to fight MMA wrestlers.
Fat loot, too.
Yeah.
It's just because people want to see him get his ass kicked. It's not because he's actually good. And I don't think it's saving the sport. I think I'm not hating on Jake Paul. If you're able to sucker people to pay $50 to watch you fight,
Right.
more power to you, buddy. But let's not say he's saving the sport of boxing. He's definitely not.
He's making it relevant.
Exactly.
He's making
relevancy.
himself relevant, not boxing. No, because that's not boxing. That is a joke.
If this fight didn't happen, when would we really be talking about boxing?
We talked about what was it? The Mike Tyson
Mike
fight.
Tyson,
Right?
yeah, the grapple
old ass
fights.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that means that you guys may not like Canelo Alvarez or Terrence Bud Crawford or
It's
some
not
of these other
personal.
guys.
We're not
It's
talking
not that we don't
personal.
like them. It's just that they're not on anybody's radar.
Yes.
Hey, it's on there on people's radar who watch it. So
Right.
I mean,
But
it's just not on your radar. That's cool.
But that's the point. It's now a niche sport. It used to be a global sport. It used to be something
It's not a
everybody
global
cared
sport.
about.
It's just not.
It's
if
not
you wanna-
popular, Corey. Why
if you want to say it's not popular, fine. But if you want to say that Jake Paul is saving boxing, I call that a crock of crap.
Now he's
I'm
saving
sorry.
boxing.
He's not.
He's saving the sport of
He's
boxing.
making
That is
it
probably
relevant.
the dumbest take ever on the show.
It might be, but you can't knock the fact that he is not the one saving the sport as far as relevancy right now. Whereas people talk about UFC, people talk about boxing. Nobody's talking about boxing like they are about UFC.
But he's not saving the sport. Come
He's
on,
saving
let's
the
not
sport.
talk stupid up here.
1.45
This is
million
asinine,
pay-per-views.
dog.
That number, when you look at that number,
Over 1 million
that's
pay-per-views,
saving the sport
man.
to me.
That's not saving the sport. That
Well,
is getting a cash cow and capitalizing on his popularity. That's different from. That's not saving a sport. Jake
I'm
Paul
talking
getting
from a
Jake Paul,
viewership standpoint.
from a viewership
Without
standpoint.
viewership, there is
it's-
no sport.
It's
Exactly.
it's celebrity
I know
boxing.
the sport exists. There's a boxing gym down the street. I'm not saying there's no one boxing. I'm saying this saved the sport as far as viewership in the media realm.
Okay, y'all got it.
Right.
I think that's a dumb take, but okay.
Personal opinion.
So the last Tyson Fury fight, 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. Jake Paul, 1.45. So, I mean, numbers are numbers, Corey. Like, you can say what you want, but there's more people wanting to watch this exhibition than
Because
actual
they
real
want to see
boxing.
him get his block knocked off, not because he's like, oh, we're about to come in here and see Jake Paul's excellence overhand rights and him throwing the jab. No, they're paying
But
to
can
see
you
him
admit
finally
that
get
more
his
people
ass
are
kicked.
interested in seeing that than actual boxing right now?
Okay, so say that. Don't say he's saving the sport.
He's making
that's
it
the
more
take.
relevant.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all got it.
I mean, show
Y'all
thinking-
got it. Y'all
show
got it.
numbers to the
Y'all
contrary.
got it.
You're
This is.
thinking
I don't know what we
too
arguing
deep
here.
on
This is a joke.
I just want to see numbers to the contrary, and I'll agree with you.
You know what's funny, Corey, is I do think this is a joke.
Right.
It's a fact that
Right.
that
It
fight
sucks.
over the weekend was the main event.
And
Is a joke.
how is this weather, guys? We have great weather going on today.
Look, just because
It
you're
is.
losing the argument doesn't mean
Oh,
you got
I'm not losing
pivot.
the argument.
You're pivoting because you're
I'm
losing.
not,
That's okay.
I'm not pivoting.
That's okay. That's okay.
If you guys
We'll go
need
to
to think
Fish.
that you're winning the argument, then cool.
I'm not winning
Whatever-
it. I'm winning. I'm proving it. I showed you numbers.
If just because you talk louder doesn't mean that you're proving the argument.
But the numbers, Corey. Will you acknowledge the numbers?
I acknowledge the numbers,
Then what
but it's
other
not
argument is
saving
there?
the sport. It's,
Then what other
okay.
argument is there?
Okay.
Wait, real quick. What's your definition of saving the sport? Because you're taking my definition of this way out of context.
I got.
Point proven. Thank you very
No,
much.
it ain't no
All right,
point
Fish.
proving, but
Point proven.
Because you're not proving any points.
it's better. You know what? For me, it's better to stay silent and let people think that you don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
'cause
about.
you're
Then to
wrong.
open your mouth and
When you're
confirm
wrong,
it, just like you
that's-
just did.
When you're wrong, that's when you do. Silence is the way.
no.
On a sports show, and you can't defend this argument, and you're silent, means you're
No,
wrong.
I'm silent because I don't want people to confirm that that I'm an idiot like this. This is stupid.
besides feelings,
I don't have any feelings. This is just-
what statistics are you going off of?
Statistics because of a pay-per-view buy?
Well, that's how you indicate interest.
That's
Okay.
success. You
okay.
determine
So
success.
look,
Nobody
so,
was watching.
So
Nobody
if
be
LeBron,
watching.
so if LeBron James fought Michael Jordan in an MMA fight and it did 3 million buys, did they save MMA?
Yeah, 'cause
MMA's not dying though.
I'm just saying, did they
You
raise the
already
attraction to
admitted
MMA?
that
then?
MMA is
Does that
bigger
raise
than
the
boxing.
Okay.
If LeBron, if
If
does that
they
raise the
did
attraction?
boxing, if they did boxing, yes, it would make boxing more relevant.
100,000,000%.
1,000,000%.
Hey, your sister got it. It's celebrity boxing, not real boxing. Let's
But
get her
that's
up
what
here.
it's come
That's
to.
the point. That's what we're trying to make.
I'm not
Celebrity
happy.
boxing is more important than real boxing to more people right now.
Okay.
It is. The
What's
pay-per-view
the-
numbers prove it.
What's the biggest boxing fight of the year, Corey? Thus far.
It hasn't been. The year just started. It ain't really been no
Half
fights.
All
of
right,
the
how
year
about
almost.
last year?
What Tyson Fury? When it was the pandemic.
We're still in a pandemic.
Now
And
we're
what
going
that
to use
means fight
pandemic
for.
as an
All right.
excuse. All right.
I know, man. I ain't
Fish,
making
what you
excuses,
got,
okay.
Fish?
COVID. I'm blaming COVID.
Yeah, it's COVID's fault that boxing's been failing for 30 years.
Well, Corey, you're not gonna like this statement. Mike Tyson claims YouTubers like Jake Paul and Logan Paul saved boxing.
Ooh!
But
He
Mike
said-
Tyson don't know
Mike
shit
Tyson
about
don't know
boxing.
shit.
Mike Tyson said,
Thank you
boxing
very
was
much,
pretty
Mikey
much a
Tyson."
dying sport. Boxing is going back thanks to the YouTubers boxing.
And Mike Tyson is always blowed out of his mind and whatever. So, Mike Tyson says
So-
one thing and says another.
It's one of the greatest boxers
Right.
you're going to just discredit.
Right. So,
Corey,
I mean, if he's willing to argue with Mike Tyson, he ain't going to give us an inch.
I'm just saying, I'm not happy at all with any of this.
Right.
I'm just saying it as I see it.
What I am happy about, though, Snoop Dogg and Pete Davidson singing. Did you guys see this?
We got the funk, hey, gotta have that funk too. We want the funk, hey, gotta have that funk too. We want the funk, hey. Well, guess what? We want Jake Paul, and he comes.
Another one saving boxing, Snoop Dogg with his commentary.
Honestly, saving
Ryan
commentating.
Ogden making sense right here. One pay-per-view doesn't save a sport. Jake Paul is a joke and is making a joke out of the sport. That's exactly what he's doing. He's
And
making a mockery out of boxing.
And I agree
He is.
with that.
He is, but that's only because boxing sucks so bad that this is happening. Because
Yep.
no boxer's stepping up to fight him.
This is an embarrassment to the sport.
Right. It's
no
embarrassing,
boxer's
man.
going to lower himself to knock out Jake Paul.
Yes, do it. Do it and show him. What you got?
Hey, Corey, how many YouTube stars you see fighting in the UFC right now? Exactly. They don't need to do that because the sport's not dying. And I
Dana
think
White
it's-
ain't letting that happen.
It's short-term growth.
Well,
It's
Come on, Mike. I
short-term
know you
for
didn't
them.
get on mic
Yeah.
to make that point.
But that is the difference. Is Dana
That's what I'm
White has
saying.
full control over MMA and how they
Exactly.
fight. Boxing has lost
Yeah.
itself throughout the years. I mean, like since I was a kid, it's deteriorated to the point where it's at now, to where Jake Paul is
Yeah.
the biggest name in boxing.
It's short-term growth. Long-term, it's not going to sustain itself. But short-term, it's a big bag for everybody, which it's killing it, but it sucks.
Right.
Next fight coming up June 16th. JoJo Siwa, YouTube star, taking on. Name another YouTuber. I don't know another one.
Well, at least let's show us the KO right now. And this is how it all went down. This was the end of the fight, and it was quick. It was painless. Left, right, and down you go.
Night, night.
And we all move on with our lives.
Night, night.
That's part of this was Snoop Dogg saying, "Get my motherfucking money."
Yeah.
Get my money. Well, they said that Askren bet on himself to lose as well.
I mean,
Yeah,
Took a dive.
that's right.
if I look like that, well, I do look like that. I would lose. I would bet on myself to lose too. You know when they do the jumping up, like to get ready for the fight?
Right.
You see his gut moving up and down. It honestly
Dude.
gave me hope.
He was fat. He was definitely fat going
Definitely
into that
was.
fight, and he got knocked out. And Joey, you wanna talk about 8 Mile?
Honestly, we just got to celebrate on this one right here. Got to
Pour
pour
some
one
out to the death of
We got to
boxing.
pour one out to the death of boxing.